Okay, so we're now recording this session. So again, this is Finding Your Career Path. I'm Laura Walker Andrews, one of the counselors at Blue Ridge, and I'll be co-presenting with Vic Sloan, our SGA Vice President. So before we get started, I would like for you to complete this survey. So it's a QR code. If you will bring up your camera on your cell phone and put that camera over this QR code, and it will bring up a link for you to fill out a survey. So just trying to get some information from you about what you're coming into this seminar with and what you're hoping to gain from this seminar. So take a few minutes to do that, and I am going to give you some time to do that. Okay, so hopefully you're still working on this survey. I'm just going to give you a couple more minutes to finish that, and then we will get into the presentation. Okay, so feel free to finish that up if you have not completed it yet, but we're going to move forward with the presentation. And first, I want to just point out that career is a journey, not a destination. So I think something that is confusing for folks is that um, as we were growing up, people wanted to know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so that makes it seem like there's one correct answer for you, that you have to know exactly what you're going to end up doing. And through my years and experience, um, I didn't think I would be a counselor at a community college. That never really crossed my mind. So, looking at career as a journey, an evolution, instead of a place where you end up, I think is important as you consider what you're going to be doing with your life. So we first want to talk about, how do we find our career? So there's a few different ways that people end up in the areas that they're in. So schoolwork and college courses definitely lend a hand in that, along with your personal interests, your family. Maybe you have a family business, or you have a family member that's in a certain career that you find interesting, and also internship and job shadowing. So at this point, I'm going to have Vic come in and talk to us about some schoolwork and college courses that he's experienced through his life. It's up to you. I turned it off.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Vic Sloan, and as Laura mentioned before, I'm the SGA Vice President. So I enrolled in Blue Ridge way back in 2011 initially, and I graduated in 2013 with an Associate of Arts. I re-enrolled in 2018, basically for career enrichment courses or anything that I felt like would help me in my everyday life. Um, and so there, like she mentioned, there's it's a journey and it's not a destination. Um, to me, my journey began with thoughts or ideas that led me to a vision of who I wanted to be or become, and what I think or believe that I wanted to do. Um, your thoughts and your ideas are your actual preparation. It's you don't have to have a huge plan. You just have to have belief. And so some of the keys that we talked about were self-awareness, self-consciousness of who you are, what you like and agree with, your decision making as far as your curriculum or your instructors. Um, Now, for new students, we know that you have to take core classes. Once you get through your cores, that's when your identity begins to meet as far as who you are, what you want to do with your career path. Some things that touch points with me is I became a political science major slash theater, and that's something that I had never done or thought I was interested in until I enrolled in those classes at Blue Ridge. So it's very important that you pick courses that you identify with, things that will help you, things that kind of make up what you think you want to be. So I think that's very key and important. And the thing is, it's up to you what you want to be and what you want to do. No one else can tell you that. So, you know, the world is yours as far as what you want to do here at Blue Ridge and what you want out of your career. Also, we talked about electives. Electives are key to me because once you get through your core classes, the electives are things that you probably will identify more with and have the choice of. So it's very important that you focus on your electives, things that will transfer out to a work-based environment, and things that you would want to further your education with. Like you mentioned, if you want to start a small business or have something of your own, some of the courses here, abilities can help you with that. I've taken intro to business, not because I want to be a business major, but because I want to know how to maybe run a business one day. with some of the things that I have in my career path. So those are just some of the key things that have helped me identify with who I am, not only as a student at Blue Ridge, but also as a person following a career path.
Okay, thank you, Vic. So I wanted Vic to present because Vic is a student here at Blue Ridge. He's involved with SGA, and I think it's important to have the student perspective involved in, all the events that we do here at Blue Ridge. And so I think that's helpful just to see, what other students are doing while they're here at Blue Ridge. So just to kind of go over, he mentioned some electives that you can take. So certainly all of our programs allow you to do that, where you are able to select classes that closely fit your interests. So there's ways that you can experience some of those different interests while you're also completing some of those course requirements. There's skill-based courses, so we have a lot of different offerings here at Blue Ridge that, automotive, interpreter education, there's a lot of things that are very focused on you increasing your skill level in those classes. So transfer programs are certainly a great way for you to explore and hopefully find what you want your major to be once you finish up here at Blue Ridge. But there's also some opportunities in continuing education, which we'll talk about in just a second. We also do work-based learning. So a lot of our business programs, so accounting, business, IT, those are programs that you have the opportunity to complete work-based learning as a part of your program. And that will allow you to work in the field, have a mentor and support from your instructor so that you can, make sure that that's a good place for you in the business world. So continuing education, those classes are open to anybody. So anybody in the public, if you're a student here, those are ways that you can expand your skill level. And they have all sorts of different classes. They do motorcycle safety. They have quilting classes, sign language, just a whole, variety of classes that you can take. There's also some campus resources that may help you in deciding what your career should be. So the Small Business Center, the Student Success Center, those are places that offer specialized services that can help you in figuring out if that's something that you want to pursue. So some of the other things have to do with your interests. So if there's, any hobbies that you have, I talked to a student recently who she and her mom, wanted to do something while they were in quarantine, and they started an Etsy shop selling plants because that's what they enjoy doing together. So there's all different places you can get inspiration, extracurricular activities. If you're playing a sport and you want to be a coach when you grow up, like that can be a means to figuring out, do you want to teach alongside that? Do you want to coach at the college level? There's also happenstance. So I mentioned the Etsy shop opportunity. So I know people who, learned how to crochet or knit, and they've started selling their stuff on Etsy and, took that from a hobby to something where they're making money. Also group activities. So anything that you're doing with other people that you enjoy and you may want to look at, turning that into a career later. So we mentioned family earlier. So looking at like a family member's occupations. So I know people who have aunts or uncles that are doing accounting, or they may be in the nursing world or whatever it is. And those are all things that can inspire you to do that particular career. Family business. So there are some folks that have the luxury of having a family business. And so I actually had the opportunity to go with one of my Blue Ridge colleagues to his family business this weekend. They own an apple orchard locally. So that was really cool to see. And they have, all kinds of family working with them. Any family interests that you may have, things you do with your family, those can all help inspire a passion or a career choice. So we want to mention internship and job shadowing. So that work-based learning comes back into play here, where you would have the opportunity to work with somebody who does that job that you want to do. Job shadowing can be a great way to figure this out as well. So I encourage you just to reach out to people. You never really know, like cold emailing, if people would be fine with you coming and kind of shadowing them for a while. So kind of see what's out there, if you have a particular interest, and do some research and try to find some people that may be willing to do that with you. Internship opportunities. There are plenty of internships that are offered in the area, and we can partner with NC Works Career Center to help look at some of those things. But those are other opportunities that are available to you to help narrow your career choice. So a lot of this presentation is focused on career assessments. So we're going to talk about different things that you can look at to help you narrow your career choice. So career assessments are used to help learn more about your interests, your values, your skills, and also your interpersonal skills. So you want to take all those personality traits into account so that you can make a wise decision on your career. So the first ones are interest career assessments. So these are probably the most common, and they're trying to get an idea of what you're interested in. So we'll just go to career clusters is one. I know that I took this in grade school. So it's a test that you can take that's going to give you, there's about 16 of these. So you can see they're all different categories. And so this is actually through Minnesota State, and they have an assessment you can take 5 to 10 minutes, and it helps you figure out a good match for your interests. So there's also Truity, which has a lot of different tests you can take. So this one's going to be about job aptitude. A lot of these are free. So the career personality profiler is going to look at what your interests are. And the strong interest inventory is one that is pretty popular as well. So a lot of these are free online, that you can take a few minutes and just see what it comes up with. So when you're taking some of these assessments, I would recommend, don't force the result to happen, because I think some people are like, oh, I'm really social, I love working with people. So you take that test, and your results are going to come out like, yeah, you're super extroverted and all that good stuff. So you want to make sure that you're not being biased in your own mind, because that's going to skew those results. So some of the more personality career assessments. So the Myers-Briggs is an assessment that is used to kind of analyze your personality. So there's a type indicator. So mine's actually here up in the right. So I'm an INFJ, which means I'm introverted, intuitive, I'm more of a feeler, and I judge instead of perceive. So those, there's about 16 different codes. There's all different kinds of things that you can use for your personality to, figure out your career choice. So according to my Myers-Briggs, the INFJ, I'm actually in a field that fits really well. So being an INFJ and being a counselor go hand in hand. So you can take this Myers-Briggs on the 16 Personalities website. Again, it's free, takes about 10 minutes. And then I want you to look at Halling Code. So the Halling Code is actually a test that they put careers into 6 different categories. and you're going to go based on a skill. So it'll say repair a dishwasher. So you're not looking at, is this something I've done? Is this something I enjoy? It's like, just based on repairing a dishwasher, I personally am not interested in that at all. So I'm going to mark dislike. Use precision machines to build custom metal parts. Sounds a little bit cooler, so I may go neutral on that. So you want to take this as just based on what it is. So you're not looking at, have you done this before? Are you going to have to do a lot of research or train with somebody to do it? It's purely based off of, does this sound interesting to you or not? And at the end of that, you're going to come up with a hauling code, which will give you some different interest areas that are going to help you narrow down your career choice. So there's some of the types down there. Okay, so there's another career assessment, workplace values and skills matcher. So these are all through Career One Stop. And this is a really cool website where you can take both of those different assessments. So I think workplace values is something that I didn't realize was such a big part of working. And so that can be a really good way to help you figure out what environment that you feel like you're best suited for. So I know I had a student sitting in my office and he's like, you know, how do you not fall asleep every day? Because I would hate working in an office. I'm like, that never occurred to me. So he wants to be outside and up and doing things. Like me, I'm cool sitting at my computer and meeting with students. So it all just depends on your personality. So some other resources I wanted to point out, Occupational Outlook Handbook. So I actually use this one when I'm sitting with students, especially if they have questions about what pay is, what education they will need. You know, is this an area where there's a tons of jobs that I'll be able to get? So that's a cool website that you can look at. So we can just look up like accountant. Let's say I'm interested in that. So it's going to pull up the accountant profile, and it'll give you what the outlook is on this job, what the education level you'll need. So just give some really good information about that. ONET is also one that I use, and this one you can actually take some assessments on here. So My Next Move is one that we use. They have one special for veterans, which I think is really cool. And you're able to go to this assessment and look at different industries and things like that. Career Key is another one. So there's some resources there that talk about your fit, your focus, lots of stuff here. And then Career One Stop, which we talked about with the skills matcher and the workplace values. So I want to kind of get out of the career assessment realm and let's kind of talk about career counseling services. So here at Blue Ridge, we have two ways you can get career counseling. The first is meeting with your student services counselor. So they are all able to provide this service to you where we would talk about, you know, we may have you do a career assessment that we talked about, but we'll go over what your interests are and how they fit in with the programs here at Blue Ridge. We also have the NC Works Career Center. So they're able to meet with the students, particularly for job placement or job skills. So more of the tangible, you know, if you're looking for a job, that's a great resource as well. So there's a couple different things here that I wanted to talk about. The career construction is a way for you to figure out, what you're exactly looking for. So you can look at, is it important to me that my career be a reflection of my personality, and I want to be recognized for my talents. So that may help you with a career counselor figuring out what might be a good fit for you. Career Rainbow is something cool that I think reflects Vic and I, our emphasis on the evolution of career as opposed to it being just something that you choose and stick with for the rest of your life. So you can see here, you're probably in the realm of a student at this point. But as you grow older, as you become a parent or get married or have children or whatever it is, your priorities may change. So maybe, for example, you have a child and you want to work from home instead of coming into the office every day. So those are different things that you can look at depending on where your life role is at that time. Another thing I wanted to point out is the 4S model. So this is something that you can look at in any situation, but particularly with career choice. So the situation would be whatever triggers you to change. So many times when students come into my office, they, oh, I don't know if I want to do business anymore. I may want to move to something else. And so that's the situation. The supports is going to be them coming to me to figure out what the best line of action is. We're going to strategize together to figure out what the best action would be. And then for self, you want to find your purpose. And so another thing I want to mention is the abilities. So looking at different abilities that you have, you may want to look at your physical abilities and how that reflects in a work environment. So you may be more of the being outdoors, being hands-on type of person. So I want to kind of move into resources. The NC Works Career Center, as we talked about, they are more based on job search assistance and workplace readiness. They can also help a little bit with career assessment. Counseling services over in the Sync building, they can help you with career assessment. We do career counseling and offer academic counseling with the Blue Ridge programs. So my recommendations to you are going to be to do your own research. So I know we had a lot of different links and resources in this presentation. So if you want to just send me a chat, I can share this presentation with you so that you have some of the research already done for you. But a lot of it's going to be, getting out there on your own and kind of figuring out what areas you're most interested and drawn to. Create your network. So we talked a little bit about job shadowing and internships. A lot of getting into the career you want is connecting with other people. So in my job now, I knew the woman who had my job before. And so we had a connection. I actually worked with her husband at another business. And so that was a really organic way for me to get connected with Blue Ridge. But you want to look at, how to create your own network so that you have these opportunities presented to you. Using others' knowledge. You want to talk with people, ask them questions. If you see one of the police officers on campus, talking with them about what they're doing. Do you like your job? How did you get into this? Using those opportunities wherever you can. And we've got plenty of student life events that we're offering this semester. So those are great ways for you to connect with not only other students, but a lot of the faculty and staff come to those as well. So you can, pick people's brains, ask questions, challenge yourself to go and connect with other people. And I think you'll be surprised at how many people actually, are willing to help you figure out, which way is the best for you. And finally, exploring. So, Vic mentioned the importance of electives and taking classes that are going to be, um, a way for you to explore your interests. So, I would really encourage you to keep doing that. Take a continuing ed course if you're able to, just to help you figure out where your area is. So you can also join a club. So we have several different clubs here on campus. We have some that are particular to a program or an interest, special interest clubs. So if religion is important to you, or sexuality, race, inclusion, sustainability, there's all different kinds of things that you can explore. And there's also honor societies. So those are ways for you to connect with your programs, your majors, your faculty, stuff like that. Okay, so for this seminar, I will be contacting everyone just to connect with you after the fact. I'm looking to get a student perspective on this to see, is this something we should continue offering? How did you like this? Things like that. So I will be emailing you just to figure out, what did you think about this? So stay tuned for that. And before we go, if you will use this QR code to complete the survey, we will wrap it up shortly after. So just take a few minutes to do that, and I'll get back with you here in about 5 minutes. All right, so hopefully you've had a chance to finish that. So thank you all for coming to this career seminar. We do have one offered next Wednesday at 11:30. You can attend live or virtually. So make sure that you've registered for that. We also have one, well, the one next week is on resume writing. I should mention that. The one on the 24th, that one is on interviewing and managing anxiety. So make sure that you register for that one as well. I will be getting into touch with you. You will also get the opportunity to win more gift cards as we move forward with the seminars. So feel free just to connect if you have any questions. But thank you again for coming, and we appreciate it. If you have questions, feel free to chat. But looks like we finished up a little bit early. So thanks again for coming.